You're recording.
Okay, folks, before we start, we say the pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Call meeting to order.
And on the commission side, I'll call the special meeting of the Knox County Commission to order.
Okay, first, is there any public comment? Commissioner Bowman, do you have something to say?
Yeah, thank you. Just, I'll try and be quick. Tonight on the agenda is, one of our departments is our IT department. And I'm just going to say a few things about the importance of IT, more and more in everything we do in our lives, and certainly at the county. Every system in the county and everything that we do relies on IT, and more. Everything from the doors, computers, electricity, leading up to the most important functions of the Sheriff's Department, corrections, dispatch in particular. They are critical. We can't function without a strong IT department. And the demands on our IT department are growing more and more every year. We have currently, and are lucky to have, our director who you heard from tonight, Zach Green, and he is one of a staff of 2 to serve the entire county. And we have some ratios. Typically for a county of our size, there's one IT employee for every 18 employees. Our ratio is 1 to 60. We are severely stretched. Zach's not asking for a lot tonight. I frankly think he should be asking for a lot more for the department, but that's not my purview. I just want to make it clear, they're on 24-hour call. There are 2 of them. Each of them must be on call. They can never take a full vacation. They have an on-call rotation. They're on call for a full 6 months out of each year. And their projects on them and the demands on them are growing more and more, from cybersecurity to you name it. And so I just want to recognize that department, the importance to all of us, and before we go into his budget tonight. So thank you.
Anybody else have any public comment? Seeing none, I'll ask for the approval of the minutes from last week.
Make a motion to approve last week's minutes.
Okay, is there a second?
I have some amendments.
Yeah, any questions? Okay.
Bring it before for a second, or?
No, let's hold off on that.
Okay. Okay, on page 3, under the Knox Lincoln Extension section, under the county commission vote, instead of to approve, it should read to increase, to match what the budget committee did. And then under the Knox Lincoln Soil and Water, the first budget committee vote was for the dollar amount of $32,490. The second vote should read, instead of to approve, to increase the administration's budget. Change of to 2 just before the dollar amount. And the vote count was correct, but Robert Peabody was amongst the in favor. That wasn't listed at all.
Roger?
Yes.
Yeah. And Nick was not in favor. He was actually against.
On the second vote.
Yes, on the second vote. I can check against the video.
So, just those 2 changes?
Yep.
Thank you.
That was my... Right, that's what I was going to bring up once it was on the floor. So.
Would you withdraw your first motion? Withdraw it?
No, my motion was to put it on the floor. You change, but I'll withdraw it.
Okay, just withdraw it.
Yep.
Make a motion to approve with the amendments.
I make a motion to approve last week's minutes
per the amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? No abstention?
No.
Two abstains?
No abstention.
No abstentions.
She's
Not for
not
you, not for you. John?
Yes, I abstain.
Okay, thank you.
And on the floor for the commission, do I hear a motion to approve as the minutes as adopted by the budget committee?
Seconded?
Any discussion? Thank you for catching those changes. We'll call the vote.
All those in favor?
Three in favor, no opposed.
Okay, next up is the amended airport projects approval. If you'd like to come up and give us what we did.
So I'll just go down and give a brief kind of explanation about what these different projects are. Starting with the Benner Lane. So the property purchase on Benner Lane included, I want to say, 4 hangars. So those hangars were then sold to hangar owners in the area who now pay us, they're now on a lease agreement with us. They pay us excise tax. They pay us, not rent, but they pay us for the lease to rent the land that their hangars are on. Any questions on Benner Lane? All right. The charging stations is for electric vehicle and aircraft charging stations. That's almost wrapped up now. It's 2 vehicle charging stations, and on the other side is a charging cube for aircraft. The goal is to have unmanned aircraft come in, and that way we can have goods and services delivered to the islands in the area without having to risk the lives of pilots in adverse weather conditions. That's kind of the big goal that we're really aiming for. There are some electronic aircraft in Cape Air's fleet overall, but nothing that is proposed to be moved to Knox County at this time. That's something that once the charging stations are fully fleshed out and installed, that's something that I'm going to pursue as well.
Can I interrupt for just a second? I'm sorry, I should have kind of led in with that. All of the projects that are on this list were already approved in a past year, and the only reason it's coming back forward is something changed in the funding. Either FAA increased, decreased, our expense increased, decreased. It could be a very slight change, but it needs to come back for reapproval. And just as a kind of refresher, when we present in a current year the airport projects, it is truly an estimate. We haven't gone out to bid. It is what our engineering firm feels that the project would be. So you're really approving it prematurely. This is just bringing it back forward. All the projects are either completed or almost done. It's just the way the charter reads. It has to come back before the budget committee and the commission for reapproval.
Okay.
So I guess I'm kind of saying that because there's not a lot of impact that we in this room have on these projects. And Jake, he could go through and explain all the projects. I just wanted to make sure that we understood it's not part of this budget. It's just reapproval of existing projects because the funding number changed.
Is this committee required to take that vote tonight?
It doesn't. It needs to be a vote by the budget committee and the commission. It doesn't have to be tied to the 25 budget. It's just we're all meeting, so it makes sense to do that now. If we had had a quarterly meeting, we could have done it at the quarterly meeting.
So, in view of that, I was asked by the administrative assistant that if any votes are taken on any budgets, that I specify the dollar amount, and I have no dollar amounts. So
it is the
it
is the total project bottom line number. I'm sorry, do you not have the page in front of you?
Page 11.
Sorry, it's a separate piece of paper. It is 2022 to 2024 amended budgets, airport projects. It looks like this. And you have mine. Did a copy get made with the package?
I have the budget. I just put the budget in. I don't see it.
Would it be in the book?
Is it supposed to be a separate document?
Oh, wait, no. Wait, is
I will
that-
make copies
is it on
quickly
page-
and then pass it back. But
I
I
mean,
just
if we
wanted
have
to
it, if we have
explain.
it, if we can have it, if we have it, we can act on it. I'm not-
I will get
I'm not
that.
against it.
But if you'd like a recap on the projects in the meantime, keep talking.
All right, so the environmental assessments for runway 13 and 31, I mean, that's pretty standard. Anything airport related, anytime there's new construction or upcoming construction, there has to be an environmental survey done. I believe in this instance, and this was before my time, it was due to obstruction removals, which anything that enters into the Part 77 imaginary services outlined by the FAA has to be removed for safety reasons. Then the reconstruct terminal apron phase 2.
Can I interrupt just for a second? Because I know you're describing the content of that project, and what we're voting on, and really the reapportionment of costs, or how that's being paid for.
Yes.
And I'm okay with you telling us about the projects and whatnot again, but it almost like you need to do it in tandem with Kathy, because Kathy needs to explain how the funding changed. So, right? We're voting again because the funding.
Because something changed, it could have been slight. It could have been from one bucket to another bucket, dollar value change. So
Yep.
what this group would be approving is the bottom line number of $9,683,402 for the 2022 to the 2024 amended budgets for the airport.
Okay, but I'm right that you said that the dollars changed somewhat
Yes,
from that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It just, I mean, if we're the money people in this organization, then we should know what how those numbers change. That's all I'm saying.
Did the total number change, or did it just change, some of the line items change?
a little bit of both. And in the past, when we've brought this forward, it has been a vote on the bottom line number
Right.
and not a lot of discussion. And so I didn't come prepared to address each project financially. I
No,
can.
what about the bottom line? Can you, the 9683 number? Do you have an idea how much that
Top
changed?
of my head, I'd have to go
Okay.
back and look. I'm
But
sorry.
you're
This
saying,
hasn't-
you're saying it's not a material change?
Correct.
As an example, if let's say the FAA's funding in any of these, or the state funding in any of these dropped, and Knox County's portion of it increased, that would be really germane to what we are what we are concerned about. So that's my question. I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just trying to understand, if we're going to vote it, how did the cost get reallocated? That's all.
Okay.
And if not, I mean, we could vote this. I mean, we're going to meet again. We can always vote it then.
We can delay it, and I can prepare that.
It's up to the committee. If they choose to go ahead and vote the total, that's fine with me.
And again, I would say that these are projects that are already in process, are done. There's little impact. It's a vote after the fact, quite honestly.
It is not affecting our proposed budget.
It is not affecting the 2025 budget. The expense portion that is listed on here is being paid either out of a airport projects reserve account, or it is paid out of undesignated for the airport. It has no impact on the budget for 2025.
Would the committee like to hear more? And if they do, fine and dandy. If they don't be offended. Would the committee like to hear more of these projects at all? Not needed. No. Okay. All right. So you're off the hook. Does the committee want to vote this total now?
Sure.
Make a
I
motion.
make a motion, we accept the total project costs as outlined and presented.
As $9,683,402.
Second.
Okay, so moved and seconded. Any discussion? Could we have a call vote? All those in favor? Thank you. All opposed.
Commission. I'll accept the motion to approve the airport budget or the airport project budget in retrospect of $9,000,000, what is it, $683,402?
Seconded?
Any other discussion? Seeing as there's none, all those in favor? 3 in favor, none opposed.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next, the budget review. Before we get into finance, Kathy, can you do an overview?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I apologize about these growing pains that we have with ODCA, these growing cups that we are running into. I guess I will apologize again, that on the version of 1031-24, on the summary page, on the budget summary, that showed that we were looking at a 9% increase. As I went back and did some re-review, it came to my attention that a formula for the airport did not carry forward, so the airport increase was not in that bottom line number. So it wasn't a 9% increase when it was presented to you at 1031. It was actually an 11% increase because the airport of $278,010 was not included in the total. Completely my error. The formula was not there because the airport has been self-funded, so it was not in there. So that was a higher number that should have been presented on 1031. So now moving forward.
Are the numbers the same? It's just the percentage increase is different?
When you, on the summary page where it lists the increase or decrease by department and then the bottom line, the airport was not brought forward, so it wasn't in that bottom line number at all. So when you were looking at an increase of $973,123 that listed 9%, the $278,010 for the airport was not in that total because I did not have a formula there. So that was completely my error.
So we straw voted the 9% increase.
Yes, because you were going through departments. In the airport, when you straw voted the airport, the dollar value was correct.
Okay.
When you did the department, it just wasn't on the summary page when you're looking at that.
All right.
So,
Again, the dollar amount, the $12,604,000 is correct. It's just that the 9% should be 11%.
I think she said on the summary page on these.
I was talking about the summary page. The dollar value for the total, yes, was correct. But when you're looking at what the increase is, and when we're talking about the increase was, we were looking for a 9% increase across, that was not correct.
Okay.
So we'll stop there. Now, the new version that you have, the changes that we have in that budget is under personnel. Our workers' comp numbers came in this week significantly higher than what they have been in the past. We had a 66% increase in workers' comp. Our health insurance, which I believe I may have said I had a 10% increase in there. I had a 7 and it ended up coming in at 11. We've had some new hires that have come in the last month that are coming in at a higher step than the people that vacated. We had a slight change in overtime too, a reduction that's helping to fund some of that. I made the Dietz change to bring that position up to 5 hours, which we talked about at the last meeting. Our health opt-out for people that do not take insurance was increased in 24. We're seeing that impact. And Maine PERS just came forward with an increase this week. So that all contributes to an increase in personnel. Contractual is reduced slightly. We took out the consulting and admin, and we reduced legal with the thought that we do have a legal reserve account that we haven't been touching. We've left there for when we run over in legal. We're going to make an assumption we're going to have to use it in 25. So we reduce legal. Commodities is reduced. We transferred one-time purchases of computers to APA to utilize the last remaining balance that we have available. Grants increased slightly to accommodate what we discussed in this last meeting, where our proposed was what was in 24. We increased it, or I increased it in the version to be what they were requesting. We increased communications on designated. We increased general fund undesignated, we increased corrections undesignated, and revenue increased slightly. I will say the undesignated, we are at corrections, we're projecting that to be at 14%, communications 18, and general fund 15, all less than what we really are comfortable with, but based on what we're looking at this year, we decided to be aggressive, I guess is the word. So if the budget summary from the last version had the correct formula forward to show the increase, and then this new version presented to you is actually $115,000 less. I know it doesn't seem it, but it is.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on the summary?
Could you repeat what the reserve, the undesignated fund balances are now? What you said, they're all under 20%?
Yes. Right now, well, with the proposed changes for this budget of 25, would bring corrections down to 14%, communications 18%, and general fund 15%. With that being said, that is based on projections of where we're going to end this year and how departments look, and hopefully we're on target with those projections, and nothing big is going to present itself that we didn't account for.
All that soak in? Any questions about that before we get into finance?
Am I first?
You're up first.
Okay. Okay.
No, I just was trying to figure out the revenues in the first, I think I got this, but I'm not 100%, were off by $300,000 roughly in the previous version we had.
It wasn't revenue, it was airport. Their amount that they needed in the budget, when they've been a zero-based last year, so there wasn't a formula in the increase or decrease column. So I guess to simplify that, the airport hasn't changed what they were asking for or what you voted on. It was just not captured on the summary page when you're looking at the total increase for the budget.
Right, but I wasn't referring to the airport. I think revenues, I mean, I have them, they were down, you know, the jail revenues were down 188,000.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So the total revenues, but it looks like so the total revenues from the previous seems like it was off 300,000, but now I'm just taking a quick look, it looks like they're off 200,000. So I'm just, maybe I just need time to go back and.
I think there was only about a $32,000 difference from what revenues were in this last version to this version, and that was really due to primarily to changes in salary, health insurance, workers' comp, and then the reimbursement we get in the sheriff's office.
Okay.
So if it's something different than that, you can let me know. I can answer it after the fact. Sorry, let me grab my budget. I didn't pick that. Okay. Moving on to finance. I can say nothing has really changed in my budget. As far as staffing levels are the same, our software programs are the same. We've had I've been able to reduce by some dues and membership because I am on a board that now pays for a couple of my dues and membership. I've been able to change cell phones, so the program that I'm on, so that it's a little bit less. Everything else is about the same.
Office supplies went from, I guess, almost 50%. So is that consumption or is that inflation?
A little bit of both. The forms that we use for year end has gone up quite a bit. The folders that we use from a personnel perspective has gone up quite a bit. And as far as if you're looking at our year-to-date actual, we have not seen the expense for all our year-end purchases to prepare us for next year.
More questions?
Make a motion, we accept the finance budget preliminarily as presented.
Is there a second? Yeah? You're second?
Yeah.
Okay, moving second. Discussion? I have another question.
Yep,
Under benefits,
yep.
we're up 15%. Is it driven by, give me what's driving that up so much, let's put it that way.
I'm sorry, of the personnel services?
Employee benefits. The benefits are up 15%.
Okay, I'm sorry. Paid family medical leave is $2,000. That's 100%. That's something that we did not have. That's in every single department across the board. And then my health insurance, I had an employee that changed the plan that they were on, which increased my health insurance significantly.
And this may be a question to the commissioners. Did the commissioners vote to absorb the 1% cost for family medical leave?
Yes.
They've made that decision? Okay.
For 2025, where employees cannot reap the benefit of 25, and 26 it will be revisited.
I see. Okay, thanks. All right, motion moved and seconded. More discussion? Don't see anybody's hand up. Call for a vote. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Not. So the total is 383,988. Minutes. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do I hear a motion to approve the budget?
Second?
Second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? 3 in favor, none opposed, and that's to approve the same grand total net budget of $383,988.
Next up is administration, page 12 and 13.
Amber, close.
So this budget's basically without IT now.
Yeah, so we've removed IT, and then geospatial has come into the admin budget. So now the admin staff would be the HR manager, GIS manager, county administrator, and administrative assistant. And as far as personnel, aside from those positions transferring moving, not too many changes. I think Kathy gave a high-level overview of anything else that's increasing as far as workers' comp, health insurance, paid family medical leave. And similar to finance, we try to keep things as low as possible or remove them completely in contractual. I think where you'll see a jump is on our training. GIS has very specific training, so that's where that jump is. Plus, we want to leave a little bit of training wiggle room for the new county administrator to be able to attend some things. And then computer repairs and maintenance, that's just as necessary. A big number, but a pretty significant decrease. And then similar to finance and other departments, office supplies and equipment and commodities due to inflation and just some printers and things has gone up a little bit.
Okay. You guys any questions you guys have?
Motion, we accept the administration budget preliminarily as presented.
Second.
Okay, so it's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Anyone opposed? So the total is 551,673.
And I'll accept a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Seconded?
Any discussion? I don't have the number here, so if you want to read the number.
Yeah, 551,673.
All those in favor? 3 in favor, none opposed.
Thank you.
Next up is information technology. Zachary Green.
Here we go. Both sides right in.
Okay, brand new budget. We can pick away. We got $487,000
Right.
increase.
So, preferably not too much, but I get it. So, as requested by the Budget Committee in 2024, for this budget year going into 2025, we did split information technology into its own department. Many of the lines are just carrying over from what was previously in administration for information technology. But the biggest change is that we are requesting the addition of a new position to assist us, as we're pretty short-staffed right now, in keeping up with both just the projects that we're responsible for, new and some desperately needed changes from some things that should have happened a couple of years back that never did. Other than the addition of a new position, I would say the other big change would just be we did see a pretty big increase in our Google costs for 2025, and that's purely because of a contract expiration that had us at a really good rate for the past few years. We were unable to, being as far out as we are, it expires, I believe, in September, so we were unable to renegotiate, and those last few months of the year had a substantial cost increase as a result. Obviously, we hope to renegotiate a new contract that will not have such a high cost, but we're unable to do it this far out. And we did see an increase in training, both with the hiring of a new individual as well as some new requirements from the FBI for criminal justice compliance. We're required to take some training regarding incident response. This just is to help cover that. This is under a state, local, tribal, territory government partnership with this training vendor. So they actually give us a 50% discount on their typical rates. So it is a pricier program. However, I have taken one of their classes before, and they're a very high quality vendor that is, I feel, pretty much unmatched by many of the other options that are available in regards to quality. But I think those honestly are the majority of the big changes that we've seen. The rest of this is pretty much just a move over from administration.
Okay. Anybody have a question? I know I'm not supposed to ask this because we have nothing to do with your operations, but what do you see your biggest threats
In
this
what
department?
aspects?
You name it. What are your biggest threats that's going to affect how you operate?
So we have a lot of different things that we have to be conscious about because we cover such critical infrastructure like public safety, critical operations, a jail, 911 center, things like that. Those types of environments are definitely, if you will, a juicier target for adversaries in the cybercrime space. So obviously cybercrime is always a concern to us. But our biggest thing is just making sure that we're operational 24/7, 365 for our departments. But we're always, our biggest concern is going to be being compromised through one method or the other. And the biggest way that we prevent that is by being proactive instead of reactive. And one of our big challenges right now is that due to the amount of projects we have, due to the amount of ticket workload and things like that, of help desk tickets, we do spend a fair amount of our time being reactive versus proactive, and we'd really like to kind of change the tone of that and change the course rather.
So, in reference to Commissioner Pullman's comments, so what did you say? 1 in 16?
We're at typically.
We're 1 in 60 or something.
We're
like that.
at 1 in 60, and Zach can speak to that.
Yeah. So the numbers are related to industry size. These are based on just general industry averages.
Okay.
So I actually have a note here somewhere.
Meaning you don't have 30 patrolmen running around and however many corrections officers, which jack up the head count.
No. So typically, even if we factor in total staffing levels for all industries of all sizes, that number is typically at 1 to 27.
Okay.
So even if we look at the complete average, we're still pretty thinly spread. However, that number typically gets smaller, so one additional IT person for less employees with the smaller organizations due to the complexity of the different systems that are needed to be operated. So you see less IT staffing per staff, if that makes sense, like 1 to 40, I think is common in very large organizations. And that has to do with because they're so large, they've optimized a lot of their systems, they've optimized the way they do a lot of things, and they've really spent the time and money, and they've brought in consultants, and they've done all the streamlining and everything. We've not been able to do that. We serve a wide variety of departments that do a wide variety of different things, and so we have to do a lot of different things in a lot of different ways, which generally just requires more resources, more hours to put into setting things up and keeping things running.
Part of the reason why I'm asking all these questions is whether we're creating a standalone department outside of administration.
Yes.
And we're asking for, you are asking for a new position. And if you would ask for 2 positions, some of us probably would say no damn way. And I'm questioning are we budgeting reality, or are we looking at, for some of us that may remain here another year, that this is not reality, that really there is a demand for 2 new positions?
It's entirely possible that down the road that may be what's realized. But what we looked at with this was, even if we bring in this new person, they need to be trained. And they would still, even if we are short-staffed with an additional person, this puts us in a tremendously better situation than we are now. So right now we said we're at 1 to 60. That takes us down to 1 to 40 if we get this additional person, which, while we may still say, well, we're on the shorter staff end, that's a big difference in numbers there. It puts us in a much better situation to allow us to focus more on what we need to focus on to be that proactive, like I said, versus reactive. So we can have the workload still being put into responding to help desk tickets, but that allows me to free up some of my resources to also focus on some of the management level things that currently I am pretty short on time to be able to keep up with sometimes, so it ends up kind of piling up sometimes, that kind of thing. So in the future, may we come to the realization that we still need more? We won't say no, but that's not what we're looking at right now. We're really just looking at getting us into a better situation than we are right now to allow us to do what we need to do.
Okay, Pat Polk, you have a comment?
I think with the realignment of the geospatial position and with realigning the supervisor within communications to an IT person, those 2 positions will do a lot of kind of on-site stuff as well. That may free up Zach and his team in order to work with 3 versus having to ask for 4 or 5.
Okay.
So, won't know till we try.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have anything? All right.
Yes, just real quick, Zach, a year ago, we talked about, it sounds small now, listening to you, but it's still, when you're gone, when Polky's not around, when other people take places, the database of all of the hard drives, all of the computers, all of the pieces of software, all of the licenses that we're paying for now, you've created that database, is that correct?
Yeah, we have one. It's not comprehensive at this point because there's still some equipment, like you said, in use that was purchased prior to us having.
But that's another one of your things that you, yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Made a motion?
I make a motion, we accept preliminarily the information technology budget as presented.
Second?
Okay, that amount is, the amount is 487,311. Discussion, further? None? All those in favor? 2, none opposed? Passes.
And I'll accept a motion to approve the IT budget.
I seconded, and that the amount is 487,311.
Any discussion? You said everything you have to say?
I said everything I had to say.
All those in favor? 3 in favor, none opposed. Thank you, Zach.
Yes, thank you, Zach. Next up is debt service, page 27.
The debt service just consists of 2 things. One being the bond, which is paid in 2027, and second being the TAN interest.
motion?
I move we accept the finance budget of $190,931.
Okay, that's a second. Second. Okay. Any discussion? It is what it is. All those in favor? Thank you. Anyone opposed?
And I'll accept a motion to approve the debt service budget as presented. So moved.
Seconded in the amount of $190,931.
Any discussion? Seeing as there's none, all those in favor? 3 in favor, none opposed.
Update on your agenda should be page 10 for ARPA.
Thank
Not
you.
11.
I thought so. All right, you hang on that. All right, this is the final of ARPA, am I right?
This is
We can finally put this away?
This is spending the last dime that we have available for ARPA. And it's broken down between equipment, which the equipment is all purchases that were in the budget that we stripped out in order to utilize the last of the ARPA. And then the projects are projects that were originally in the 2025 capital plan that we then moved into ARPA because we had the funds available.
Okay. Who would like to make a motion, or if you have any questions?
I have a question. How much or how many of these projects do you see needing to be funded on an annual basis going forward?
No,
No.
they're all one time.
They're all
Yes.
one time?
Yes.
Okay.
And I should have said that the available ARPA funding is a direct result of projects that were approved in prior years that have come in under budget, and then we're reassigning that money.
Okay.
It's not as if we got more money, we're just reassigning.
However, some of the equipment would ultimately have to be replaced. That's an
Yeah.
ongoing
I'm sorry,
rotation of.
as far as, yes,
Yeah.
but it's not like a service, and it's not a program. It's one time today, and maybe that department will need a new computer again next year. Yes.
Right. Anybody any other questions? Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to accept the ARPA budget as presented at $296,722.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous.
From the commission, I'll accept the motion to accept the ARPA funding. So moved.
Seconded in the amount of $296,732.
If we get another one of these next year?
All over.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Any other discussion? Thank you for squeezing every last dime. All those in favor? 3 in favor, none opposed.
So, our next meeting, what is it? December 12th. That's the meeting for our public hearing and our final votes. Is anybody unable to come on December 12th? Everybody good? Okay. Just good to know.
Quick question, Bob, is the time still 5 o'clock? I know I'm usually officially back.
This one's at 6 o'clock.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, 6 p.m. All right.
Can I ask a general question?
Of course.
So we're looking at a 10% increase, is that correct?
Yes.
And I can't ask, I would say, put the crystal ball in front of you. And in light of the fact that we know that multiple departments are running very lean, and I get your point, Commissioner Pullman, that compared to other counties or organizations, okay? Maybe there's a reflect turning that around that those organizations could aspire to our model. Knox County's model of being very lean and running very efficiently. And I say, I hope you mean, I mean that as a compliment.
I think that there are different organizations, towns, counties that do reach out to individual departments to ask questions, to get our policies and procedures, to ask how we operate, to so I guess the question is yes.
And so I guess the question is, given that where we're at 10% this year, and we've over the last three plus years, we've gone up significantly. I don't know whether the number is 35% or 40%, but it's significant, and obviously that's happened everywhere. Do you have any sense is like that 10% going forward is, I mean, I don't think that's a level that anyone wants to aspire to.
I would say
is this going to get us to a point where we may begin to level off, or for those of us, or for those of the people in the room who are going to still be here next year?
I can't answer that question. We don't have a lot of control over a lot of our items. I would hope that we would be able to continue to look for efficiencies and look at doing business smarter and better, but some of us, we try very hard every day. And we had hoped to come forward with a lower percentage increase, but we don't have anywhere else we can shave off. We don't have anything else that at this point I feel that we can do without changing a service or taking something substantial out.
I will say that, I'm not a fan of ARPA philosophically, but ARPA saved the local taxpayers a significant amount of money.
Yes.
We would be talking about at least another 5% a year. And I thought, for the moment, I'm not in total agreement with how the ARPA process got started, but I will say that I think operationally we used the money well, and it did offset local taxes.
It's not free money, we just got our money back.
Yeah.
Whatever, it didn't grant or anything like that.
Our great-grandchildren will be paying for it. So. Is there anything else for the order? Okay.
I asked a couple of questions. Are there any departments that you would like to see back, or a budget that you're thinking that when we go to the public vote that you're not entertaining approving as presented? If we're feeling that way, I think we need to have another meeting and bring departments back so that we're prepared for when we go to the 12th and have all the necessary information available for vote. I feel like at times we've gotten to that point and the numbers have changed and we're trying to pivot to get the vote in writing that has to be presented a certain way. So
I think that's a great suggestion, Kathy, to promote proactive discussions so that we don't get down to the last minute and then have a question that is not able to be answered.
It could be that, or it could be that there's been some discussion of maybe there wasn't a budget that everyone agreed upon. When we get to the 12th, and then it's like, well, I don't agree with this, or I agree with this budget, but $50,000 left. We're trying to pivot to get all the information so that we're efficient. So do we feel that we need a meeting added in the, and the 5th to have those discussions, or do we?
I would speak I can only speak for the committee to say that if you look back on our minutes and you see votes that were taken that were not, there were some departments that were close to a split. Those department heads should show up. I know how I voted on certain budgets, and I'm not going to change my vote. And too much they wanted me to give them a detail of what I would cut. I would just simply say that this budget is still, in my view, very high. I know if my costs go up, I need to find a different way to do things. And if you're in private industry, that's what you do. In public industry, I know that's not what you do. But I know how I voted, and I'll vote the same way. But all of these things skated through. So I'm not going to tell you to bring everybody in because I don't think it's necessary. But if you had any unanimous votes, I don't think the department heads can come. But if there's a department that it was maybe a split vote, it might be a good idea for them to please be here to answer questions.
Can I just, one observation is, I think one of the departments we had a problem with was the district attorney. And I think we addressed some of that by taking some of their laptop computers that were going to be spent this year and paid for them by the ARPA funding. So some of that money, that part of that budget has gone down between what it was originally and what it is going to be as presented. So that's improved a little bit, not enough to make us happy, but at least it's gone down some.
Post our straw vote. Are you saying post our straw vote? When
Yes.
we took our straw
Yes.
vote?
Yes.
Post straw vote. Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask for clarification while we have the three gentlemen with the badges on? It's just because as I was reviewing this, we have a decline in the revenue line on community connections. And that number does impact this overall budget
Correct, and
materially.
the sheriff spoke to that when he was in his meeting, that the state is now giving us less money.
Okay, yeah,
Because we're more efficient.
thank you. I just wanted to refresh my memory on that.
Yeah, so that is.
And that's going forward too, right?
So that is, yeah, so that is connected to the jail funding bill or jail funding law. It's $20 million. It's earmarked every year, flat funded by the state to the county corrections system.
Yeah.
It is based on a formula that the state has. So as your population reduces, the amount they give you reduces. So for us, it was about $150,000 impact overall, because there's a couple accounts that money goes towards. So and unfortunately, I can't predict whether it'll go higher or not.
I just want to note that has a material impact.
Oh, 100%.
On this budget.
100%. It kind of goes into similar to the state provides mandates of what we need to fund that we haven't funded in the past, which has a direct impact in many places in our budget.
The other comment I wanted to make was that and I'm looking for some numbers I have, but here, I think that the total personnel cost from the 24 budget to this budget went from personnel as a total of expenditures went from 71.5% to 73.2%. And I just want to keep an eye on that percentage, because personnel is, 70% of the budget as it is. Mm-hmm. And if that number starts creeping up, what can the budget committee do to exercise any constraint on the budget?
Well, as an example, like in corrections, our jail was designed not for efficiency. If we had done it today, it would be built completely different. Like if you go to Two Bridges, that's the system. And that costs, I don't know how much more that is versus a new system. So, we're helpless in that respect. Anyway, there's some parts of it that I feel like we're just rubber stamping it anyway. There's some things I have issue with.
I don't think we necessarily addressed Kathy's question. Do we need a meeting hypothetically on the 5th to bring Natasha back? I don't remember any other budget other than Natasha's. I wasn't here last week, so I don't know. But I personally feel like at the public meeting we should be ready to vote and not argue. So.
Well, and I think DA was one of the ones that there was a question. But if there's also a feeling as the budget committee is leaning towards potentially not being in favor of what's presented, I think it's beneficial for us to meet again to talk through that before the public meeting to get all our ducks in a row and have all of our vote verbiage correct, because we've had to pivot a little bit at times, and I wasn't the one doing the pivoting, but we want to be as prepared as possible.
My personal feeling is that everything passed. It's immaterial what this budget committee, how they voted. It all passed. Nothing's going to change. So there's no point wasting somebody's time coming here and defend what they've got. To me, the vote's going to be the same.
I don't want to devote another meeting. I'm done with this. At the next meeting, I'm done. Seriously, I'm done. Done
So
this
you're
too long.
reappointed.
I've done this too long. So, okay. So we need a motion to adjourn, but before we adjourn, I just want to ask the committee to be respectful of the commissioners who vote to adjourn after us. So could I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second? Second. All those in favor? Thank you.
Is there any other business to come before the commission? If there's none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? Seeing as there's none, all those in favor? We are adjourned too. Thank you all.